Hello traders, it's another week and we've got more challenges for you. So once again, hello traders, I'm Simon from FTMO, and what we are doing here is that we are reviewing accounts that have passed our evaluation process. So I honestly believe that you already know the drill, so let's now look at the challenges, and later on we are gonna look at verification accounts. The first account that you can see on screen right here is for $50,000 and it's traded on Purple Trading, and the account type is Purple Trading STP. So that means essentially that this trader is not paying any commissions, but perhaps spreads can be a little bit wider. The balance curve right here is looking quite good. You know, there is just a movement up and nothing else, no huge spikes up, no huge dips down. So overall, probably a pretty balanced strategy. This trader didn't use just those 10 trading days, but he used full 19 trading days. You know, you have like 22 or 23 trading days for the whole challenge. So this trader really stretched it, and you know, that's completely fine. We like to see patient traders. In regards to loss limits, you know, this trader managed them very nicely. He didn't go down too much. So that's always really nice to see that he doesn't really risk too much. In the statistics, you can see that he executed 68 positions using just 28, almost 29 lots. So that's not a huge volume, but you know, that's just fine. You can already see that he is trading a little bit of Forex and something else. So we are gonna look at it later. But you know, even if it's low volume, perhaps he got some really nice pips. His win rate is 57% and his risk reward ratio is 2. So even if his risk reward ratio was a little bit less, it would still be very much a viable strategy. I'm now scrolling through the daily summary and I can just see that the profits are distributed very nicely across all days. So it's really balanced. You know, that's something that we really like to see when trader is consistent. I talk about this basically in every video where I review challenges, so that's awesome. And in the trading journal, you can see that he mostly traded Forex. Well, he traded also gold, and he even held those positions overnight. So perhaps maybe this trader is a swing trader. I don't know, of course. I don't know this trader's strategy, but we know for sure that he is not a day trader. And straight away you can see that he is using really low volume for all of the instruments, and that's completely fine. But just keep in mind that if this is the case, you in fact have to make your profits on huge movements. So there's that. Now he is making most of his money on going long instead of going short, but he is basically making money on both of these movements. And regarding the symbols that he is trading mostly Forex here. A little bit of something else, but nothing really that significant. So he is in fact mostly a Forex trader. So from the start we got really nice challenge. So let's look at more accounts now. This challenge right here is for $100,000 and it's on FTMO with LMAX data feed. And the balance curve here looks pretty similar actually. He executed just like 35 trades, so that's really not that much. But even so, he managed to complete it, so there he goes. In the trading objectives, you can see that he passed the challenge in 12 trading days. So that's good, because once again, I can already assume that this trader is patient, didn't really rush to just get those 10 minimum trading days, and that's it. And regarding the daily and max loss, it's the same number actually. So that means that there was just one drawdown, and that was probably from the start. It's probably right here. This is of course balance, not equity, and this is equity. So that's why this number is different from this number. But from that point on, from this point on, he didn't get larger drawdown than this. In the statistics, you can truly see he executed just 35 positions using almost 70 lots, and his win rate is really high. It's actually almost 75%. So 3/4 of the time he was right, and combined with average risk reward ratio of 1.99, that's basically 2, still pretty awesome strategy. Now what I want to do is take these numbers, and if you have seen our account metrics video where we explain basically how to use all of the features of the account metrics, you can see that it is really powerful tool, and I will use equity simulator to basically run this strategy, simulate it. So I will click the equity simulator right here, and you can already see that I have run it in the past. And yeah, basically you can see that in all cases, I will just run it one more time for you. And in all cases, this strategy is very profitable. So this trader doesn't have to really worry too much. If he continues this strategy, he will be probably very successful long term. All right, so now let's move on to the daily summary. You can see that the losses, and well, there is just basically one huge loss at the start of the challenge, but from that point on, he made some really nice profits, and that's just great. Now his trading journal is separated into just 2 pages, so that's not really that much, but basically with 35 trades, you can expect that. And from what I can see here, he is in fact just using Forex. You can already see that here he made some note, because you can of course include some notes here, but I'm not gonna click that right now because that's of course his personal. And yeah, basically he's trading just Forex. And finally down here you can see that he made most of his money on selling, a little bit on buying, so both are pretty good. His most profitable volume was 2 lots, and he also traded a little bit with 1 lot, but not too much, quite frankly. And yeah, he's just trading Forex. So this account was really great, and you have already seen via the equity simulator that this strategy is viable in the long run, and I will be looking forward to see the results of his verification. And speaking of verification accounts, let's look into them right now. This verification is with the same deposit provided by FTMO with LMAX data feed, and looking at the balance curve, it's not looking that great. So I always like to include some accounts that are struggling, because you know, it's important to see that even if you are struggling, there is a way out, in fact. And this trader basically, most of his trading period was in fact struggling, and just at the end he managed to get some profits in and successfully finish his verification. Now you might think that this is a huge spike at the end, but you know, it is, but he didn't just make it in one day, as you will see later. Now to talk a little bit about the trading objectives, he finished it in 10 days, and that's fine. His max daily loss was almost breached, so he was really close to actually violating the challenge, but probably he managed the risk and successfully got out of that. And also there is a silver lining, he made $250 more than he was required to, so that's pretty nice. In the statistics you can see that he made 135 trades using quite a huge volume, so that's 1,600 lots. And his win rate is almost 50%, but it's actually under 50%, so that's not really that great. And his average risk reward ratio is not super high, but it's still okay. It's 1.2. Now I'm gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna use the equity simulator, and I really wanna see if this is in fact strategy that can be viable in the long run. Yeah, so as far as I can see, if he was on a blue line, it wouldn't be really that great for him. But you know, you have to see perhaps more data. So there is no definite answer, but perhaps he could improve either his win rate or risk reward ratio to be better. Anyway, moving on, we will look into daily summary. You might think that this is a huge volume, but when you look at how it's distributed, it makes more sense. And actually, it wasn't like he made most of his profits using high volume at the end of the verification. In fact, when you look at 19th of May, he used 645 lots, and that ended in a loss. And actually, when you look at the end, he didn't use that high volume. So it wasn't like he was just using pure luck to win the verification. Now in the trading journal, you can see that he traded just 2 forex pairs as far as I can see. He didn't hold them overnight. He didn't pay any swaps. And he basically just traded British pound and USD and euro and USD. But of course, we don't know the strategy of this trader. So yeah, now basically all of his profits were made on buying. He made loss on selling, so that's not really great. He should probably avoid that. And his favorite volume, or rather the most profitable volume, was 28 lots and 5 lots. And basically you can see here that he traded just these 4 forex pair. So that is British pound USD, euro USD, British pound, Japanese yen, and Canadian dollar and Japanese yen. So yeah, this account wasn't really a textbook account because, you know, perhaps he could have had a little higher risk-reward ratio or at least win rate. But, you know, he still got out of that struggle. So that's why I am including this account here. And of course, now let's look at the last one. So this last account is for $50,000 on FTMO with LMAX data feed. And the balance curve is looking not that great in the first half of the verification, but from that point on, he finished it quite nicely. In this section right here, you know, there is nothing that special. Basically 10 minimum trading days, max loss and even max daily loss were respected quite nicely. But the profit target is very nice. He made actually $700 more than he was required to do, so that's always great. Now he opened 162 trades using 73, almost 74 lots, and his win rate is still pretty low, to be honest, but his risk-reward ratio compensates for that. Now, once again, you know, I am pretty curious how this strategy will perform in the long run. So let's once again use our equity simulator and run it. And just wait for a little bit. And yeah, pretty much in most of the cases, he is in fact profitable, even on the green line, actually. But with this blue line, that's the worst case scenario. But even in the later stages, he is recovering from those losses. I will add more iterations. So let's look at 1000 iterations, run it one more time. And yeah, as far as I can see, all of these lines are profitable. So in the long run, this trader probably will be profitable. Now, of course, now let's get back to our account metrics and the daily summary. So the profits aren't that well distributed. You know, he made actually all of his profits on 3 days, and that's 18th of May, 19th of May, and 22nd of May. And that's basically it. On the rest of the days, he was slightly in a loss, but in the end, he just got this nice profit. So there he goes. And this trader is trading commodities and indices and Forex. So basically like everything. You could already notice that he is using low volume, and you know, for those indices, there is no other way. It's very risky to open like 10 lots for S&P 500. And finally, let's look down here. So his profits are very nicely split between the shorts and the longs. And his most profitable volume is 0.1 lots. And this trader was specializing just on these 4 instruments, or maybe basically even just this one. He made losses on Euro USD and didn't really trade that much on these 2, but the profits were definitely made on S&P 500. And yeah, so this is it for this one. You have already seen the results from the equity simulator, so I think that this trader is gonna be successful in the long run. And of course, this concludes this episode of Successful Challenges Overview. I hope that you traders are now more inspired to try something new perhaps. And of course, if you would like to see more content like this, subscribe to our FTMO YouTube channel and follow FTMO on social media. And if you have any questions or any feedback whatsoever, you can leave it in the comment section down below the video. And that's it. As always, traders, trade safe.